Does pre-cooling really cut summer energy bills? Experts explain the pros and cons. Is pre-cooling your home really worth the effort? The answer depends on your situation, but let's break it down. This summer has already seen record-breaking heat waves across the U.S., with temperatures soaring and power grids struggling to keep up. https://www.npr.org/2025/06/26256/NX-1-5443646/hot- weather-humidity-effects-roads. A massive heat dome is set to hit the country's midsection, pushing temperatures into triple digits for days. https://www.accuweather.com/n/weather-news/100-million- to swelter daily and massive us heat dome /1797625. When the heat hits, air conditioners are on full blast, and searches for pre-cooling have spiked on Google. https://www.npr.org/2025/06/24/g-1-74358/heat-dome-hot- weather-explained. But does this strategy actually work? Let's dive into the details. Pre-cooling involves lowering your home's temperature during off-peak hours, so the cool air carries over into peak hours, when the sun is strongest and energy costs are highest. Sounds simple, right? But here's where it gets controversial. Some experts say it can save money and energy, while others warn it might backfire. For example, a researcher from Eindhoven University of Technology, Daniel Barber, says pre-cooling could be a good start, but only if you're careful. He explains that running an AC at 60 degrees Fahrenheit is super energy intensive and produces a lot of HFCs, hydrofluorocarbons, a potent greenhouse gas. However, if you maintain your system and keep windows closed, it might work. It's a lot of energy to get it started, especially when the room is already hot, he says. Air conditioning doesn't cool the room, it just moves the heat out. So if it's already warm, you're giving it a tough job. Power companies have mixed opinions. The Department of Energy recommends keeping indoor temps between 75 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit to save energy. Arizona Public Service supports pre-cooling, advising homeowners to lower thermostats in the morning, raise them during peak hours, 4 to 7 p.m., and then adjust as needed. Georgia Power, however, cautions that pre-cooling works best for extremely efficient homes, and there's no one-size-fits-all temperature range. Meanwhile, Exelon Corporation argues that running AC at its lowest settings, even when it's cooler outside, could lead to higher energy use and safety risks. So what's the takeaway? Pre-cooling isn't a magic fix. It requires careful planning and a balance between energy efficiency and comfort. If you're not used to adjusting your thermostat throughout the day, here are some alternatives. Focus cool air on key areas with fans or programmable AC units, and spend time in those zones during peak hours. Other tips from experts include changing air filters regularly, sealing windows and doors, using heat-generating appliances during off-peak times, and programming your AC to raise the temperature when you're away. The bottom line? Pre-cooling can help, but it's not for everyone. What's your take on this? Do you think it's a smart strategy for your home, or is there a better way to stay cool this summer? Share your thoughts below. This is a conversation worth having. Does pre-cooling your home save energy? The truth about beating the heat. When the summer sun turns up the heat, finding ways to stay cool without breaking the bank becomes a major priority. But here's where it gets tricky. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. One method that's been gaining attention is called pre-cooling. But does it really work? The answer isn't as straightforward as you might think, and opinions are divided. Let's dive into the details, so you can decide if this strategy might work for you, or if other cooling techniques are worth exploring. If you've ever wondered whether lowering your home's temperature during off-peak hours could help you save money and energy, you're not alone. This year, record-breaking heat waves have scorched much of the United States, causing roads to buckle and power grids to groan under the strain. With temperatures expected to soar even higher in the coming days thanks to an intense heat dome hovering over the country, many homeowners are scrambling for solutions. And guess what? Searches for precooling surged on Google just recently as people hunted for answers. So, what exactly is precooling, and how does it work? The concept is fairly simple. You crank down your thermostat during cooler parts of the day, usually early morning or late evening, to chill your home thoroughly. Then, when the afternoon sun hits its peak and electricity rates climb, you let the stored cool air carry you through. Sounds great in theory, right? But like most things, the devil is in the details. To better understand the pros and cons, we turn to experts. Take Daniel Barber, a professor of architecture at Eindhoven University of Technology in the Netherlands. He's spent years researching sustainable ways to reduce our dependence on air conditioning systems. While he acknowledges that precooling could be a useful starting point, he also warns about potential downsides. For instance, running your AC at very low temperatures, say 60 degrees Fahrenheit, is incredibly energy intensive. Not only does it consume more power, but it also releases hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, potent greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change. Barber emphasizes that precooling might only be effective if you take certain precautions. Keeping windows and curtains closed is crucial to prevent warm air from creeping back inside. On the flip side, constantly turning your AC on and down throughout the day can actually waste more energy than it saves. Why? Because cooling a room that's already hot requires a lot of effort from your system. As Barber puts it, air conditioning doesn't magically create cold air, it moves the hot air out. So if the room is already sweltering, you're giving your unit a Herculean task. But wait, what do utility companies have to say about all this? Opinions vary widely. The U.S. Department of Energy suggests keeping indoor temperatures between 75 and 78 degrees to conserve energy. Meanwhile, Arizona Public Service gives a tentative thumbs up to precooling, advising customers to lower their thermostats in the morning, raise them during peak hours, typically 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and adjust again afterward based on personal preference. In contrast, Georgia Power strikes a more cautious tone. Its representatives explain that precooling works best in highly efficient homes, and even then, success depends on several factors, including the size of the house, outdoor temperatures, and individual comfort levels. Matthew Kent, a spokesperson for Georgia Power, told NPR, "It's hard to provide a universal recommendation because every home is different." Then, there's Exelon Corporation, which operates 6 utilities in the Mid-Atlantic region. Their stance? Precooling, or supercooling, as they call it, can sometimes do more harm than good. According to James Girardi, a company spokesperson, running your thermostat at its lowest setting, even during milder periods, can lead to excessive energy use and strain on your HVAC system. This not only drives up costs, but could also pose safety risks. Clearly, precooling is a nuanced topic with no definitive answer. So, what else can you do to beat the heat while keeping your energy bills in check? Experts recommend focusing on smaller, targeted areas of your home by using fans, portable AC units, or window-mounted systems. Concentrating cool air in specific zones can make a big difference, especially during peak hours when demand is highest. Here are some additional tips that nearly everyone agrees on. Change your air filters regularly to ensure optimal airflow. Seal any gaps around windows and doors with caulk or weather stripping to block drafts. Use heat-generating appliances like ovens, dishwashers, and close dryers during off-peak hours to avoid adding extra warmth to your home. Keep curtains and blinds shut during the hottest parts of the day to minimize heat gain. Program your AC to raise the temperature slightly when you're away and lower it again before you return. Ultimately, the effectiveness of pre-cooling comes down to your unique circumstances. Are you willing to experiment with different strategies to see what works for your space? Or would you rather stick to tried-and-true methods? Either way, staying cool this summer will require a mix of creativity, planning, and maybe a little trial and error. And now, here's a question for you. Do you think pre-cooling is worth the effort? Or do you believe traditional approaches are still the way to go? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.